Hey everybody, are you crazy about plaid like I am? Well, if you are in for a treat this season because it's everywhere. And I wanted to show you our wrapped in plaid paper and what we're getting ready to do with it for Christmas. I also have a little surprise for you, so stay tuned. I've given you an eye full of plaid. This is the wrapped in plaid paper. It's 6 by 6, so you get 48 sheets. There are 12 different designs. I think I've only got 10 of them here. I may have used some of them up already. There's 4 of each design for 48 sheets of paper. Isn't that beautiful? You just can't imagine all the versatility you're going to have with all these different papers. Probably my favorite set in the new holiday catalog. Let me kind of show you where this is coming from. If you've got a catalog, this is going to be the Wrapped in Plaid Suite. I think you can see it all in the picture. There you go. And this is the paper 6 by 6. We're also going to be using the Perfectly Plaid stamp set. Looks like this, and this is a photopolymer stamp set. Even has a little plaid Christmas tree. So you have 4 choices of trees and lots of sentiments for both the outside and the inside of your card. There also is some beautiful ribbon, and I love the ribbons this year. They are so soft. They're great for tying bows or any other kind of project that you need. Just beautiful. And it has the gold in there that matches the gold in your plaids. I don't know if you could see that or not, but every plaid sheet has some shimmery gold in it also. Really, really pretty. And the star of the show is the punch. And it's hiding from me. Hold on. This is the pine tree punch. And hopefully you can see that, and it makes just the perfect size. If you want a forest, you can just take the stem off of it and use it as a flat bottom, or you can have a more traditional Christmas tree using the stem. So those are the products we're going to use. Let me show you one more page. This has a close-up of the stamps and the papers. The backs of the papers are all just neutrals, stars, little reindeer, something that you could use on any card or as an accent. So I think you're going to be excited when you see what we're going to make. Our card today is this one, and I have a variation to show you later, but it's just a little Merry Christmas card, very simple and quick, but oh, so cute. Just love it. I want to show you the next thing, which is a little happy or a little extra surprise I have this month for September, and there's just a week left, so you don't have a lot of time. I'm giving away this little packet. This is coming from the Christmas Gleaming Suite, and in the packet, you're going to get a sheet of the foil embellishments, the stars, there's some flowers. You're going to get a yard and a half of the Merry Christmas ribbon. It is gorgeous. You'll get 3 card fronts. So these are 4 inches by 5 1/4. So they're ready to go on a regular size card, which leaves a little bit of a border around it. You're going to get a dozen, I can't pick them up, of the little stars. And these are all in copper. And then you might find a few extra little Christmas trees and a Christmas card in there for you too. So that's my special for the month of September for a $40 order. So I'll give you all of the connections that you need to my website, etc. at the very end. But let's start stamping. I'm ready to make a Christmas card. So here's a card. Looks like that. And I'll show you another example at the end. And we are going to start with our card pack. I'm going to empty everything out and show you the pieces. And I'll put the measurements on, they're already on my blog. So I'll get that connection up there for you in just a little bit. Starting with a regular 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch white, whisper white card base. And I am going to add a layer of cranberry, or sorry, not, it looks cranberry. It's called Cherry Cobbler. It's an old standard, had been around for quite a while and always beautiful, especially at Christmas time. Tape runner the back of that and center it on the front of my card. And the next layer is going to be the plaid. But look, on the back, you could even do that and still be beautiful. So let me grab a little tape runner. They're not going to have a lot of pressure on these cards. They're fairly simple. So I think tape runner is going to be plenty strong to hold everything on. It is September here in Maine. We just had a nice little thunderstorm roll through, and we are getting ready to see some beautiful fall colors. The trees are just beginning to turn, and I did see there were two deer. There were cars stopped in the middle of the road, and there were two little deer, one on each side of the road, that they were waiting on to try to make sure that they didn't get hit. So it took a little while for them to decide to move on out of the way. The next layer I have, it's a 1 inch by 4 1/4 inch, because it's going to cover the cherry cobbler. Just a little strip of paper. Make sure I'm on camera. By the way, in case you didn't notice, I didn't even tell you who I am. My name is Lynda Falconer, and I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I stamp on my blog is crafterinspired.com. That's kind of my name. And I'm glad you're here today. Thank you very much. I have just recently moved to Maine, and so I still have a few friends in Mississippi. I think they're forgetting about me now. But I'm starting to make friends and start with classes here in Maine now. All right, so now I want to use a stitched framelit die, and take about a 3 inch by 4 inch piece of cardstock, and then this framelit will fit right on top, right there. You're going to either put this, they say that if you'll put it underneath the paper when you run it through your Big Shot die cutting machine, that it works good for intricate dies. This one's not that complicated, and I like to see what I'm doing. So I'm just gonna go run it through just like that. Let's see, let's do some stamping before we do that. I always like to stamp first in case I mess up the Big Shot work when I'm running it through. So let's get something underneath these projects. There, that'll work better. Okay, I'm gonna do stamping here. I'm gonna do Merry Christmas, and then I will use my die on top of that here to cut it out. And then on the inside of my card, I'm going to go ahead and put my sentiment and my little Christmas tree. The reason I do that is so that if I should happen to mess it up, not that that has ever happened, of course. If that happens, then I don't have quite so much to redo. I probably should have started doing the stamping on the inside before I put the front on my card, but that just puts the pressure on a little more, so maybe I'll have good luck with it. I hope you're getting cooler weather. My friends in Mississippi, I think, are still in the 90s, whew, which is hot. Seems like it stays that way all through September. And we just got a pretty good little thunderstorm with thunder, and that doesn't happen very often here either. It's kind of unusual. All right, here's my Merry Christmas sentiment, and I'm going to do that for the front. I think I grabbed my old ink pad. It looks like it's just about seen its last day. So I'm going to put it a little to the right. Perfect, it'll work. So that when I do my sentiment, I'll have a little room for the tree over there. And the next one is this one says, hoping that your busy year comes together in Christmas cheer. And remember, when you're stamping, you're just gonna tap. Sorry, this is a folding table, so it wiggles when I stamp. Tap to make sure it's covered good. You don't ever want to see ink coming up from your ink pad when you push your stamp on it. Means you're pushing too hard. And we just got lucky. That came together perfectly. And now I have lots of choices. Let me show you my tree choices. There's a realistic tree, plaid, just a little leaves. And then I just like this one. Looks a little Scandinavian for me. to me. So that's the next step, is to stamp my little tree. I'm inking up my stamp, and I think this is Shaded Spruce. I'm going to stamp one right there in the corner. But because I'm a more is not enough kind of girl, I guess you would say, what would happen if we did 3 of them? Let's try it. So far, so good. And then the last one, I think I'm going to go a little low in the middle. Oh, that's cute. I like it. So lots of choices. I've done one in the center, over on the other side, one on the edge. And since we have our tree out, let's look at our envelope. I think for this one, I'm just going to do a tree on the flap of the envelope. Well, let me do 2 so you can see. Okay, so when you open your envelope, you're kind of excited already. Isn't that pretty? But wait, there's more. I think I'm going to do one more just so you can get the idea, and you can choose whether you want to do them all or not. So I'm going to do one more right here. And I'm doing something, at my house we say very dangerous. Do you see all the extra ink here? I can do pretty good about getting it on the paper without smudging the extra ink on the paper. But what happens is when I'm manipulating my block, I end up with that on my hands, and then it ends up being on my card. So I highly recommend, if you see that, swipe that off just as quick as you can, so that you don't end up with it on your hands and everything else. So we have our envelope done, the inside is done, so we just need to use the die cut to cut our stitched rectangle. And I'll put the measurements. I don't think I have a ruler over here. Well, hang on. We do have a ruler. Well, it's not marked on these fancy ones. 1, 2, I think it's like 3 1/8 inch long. So I'm going to go take care of my tag. I'm going to punch. We've already done it, so I'll show you. Here's my punch. Just stick a little sheet of gold in there and punch out so I want to watch it come out so that you can see what's happening. But I have gold foil paper, and so I punched out a tree out of that. And we're almost done. I'll be right back. I wanted to show you the rectangle stitch framelits. There's 13 different dies, including the one that we used here. So I wanted it to stay put because of the writing on it. It needed to be straight. So I just put the sticky part of a Post-it note over the die. And so now it stayed right where I wanted it to. And here's my stitched framelit around the rectangle. So those are called stitched rectangles, and the stitched shapes are probably the best investment you could make, especially if you are a new stamper. You can use a Big Shot machine or any other die cutting machine, or just cut out a rectangle with a trimmer. So here's my Merry Christmas, and I'm going to put that on with some dimensionals to pop it up a little bit, which of course are not here. They like to run away. Just a moment. I'm back. I'm going to put some dimensionals and be generous each corner, and then I'll do 2 in the middle just because it's a pretty big space. I don't want it to sag. And I think I can get away with 1 in the middle. Looks like a domino. And then you just peel the little backing off. And I'm gonna be quiet so I can speed the camera up. And you can watch me do this in fast motion. my tree is going to go kind of on the side and partly off of my label. Do that. All right, now let's see what else we need to do. We just need to do a little bling, I think. So let me get some, these are the Toile Tidings glitter dots. So I'm going to get a small one in red for the top of my tree. And tools make this job easier, but fingernails seem to be working fine. And then I might do a little extra embellishment, I think back here, down here in the corner. Just a little something else. Just a little something, something. Okay, what do you think? We're there, almost. Last trick. This is the linen thread, and it comes on a card, so it has these bins in it, which I do not want. So a little quick trick to fixing that, I'm just going to spritz it with water out of a little spray gun. Now make sure none of your cards are in front of that. So I'm just going to give it a little spritz and then rub it with my finger, and that fold goes away. Just water in a little spritzer. And that dries pretty quickly. I didn't do the end because I'm going to be cutting that off anyway. So let's see if Lynda can tie a bow on camera. That is one of the most difficult things to do. So here we go. Under, and I'm tying it around the trunk of the tree. Now when I get that far, actually I should have done it a minute before this. I have glue dots, so let me show you a little something that will help. That twine gets a little difficult to manage, so I've got a miniature glue dot. I'm putting it down there and kind of squishing it up, and then I'm going to roll that twine on top of that so it will help hold it. And then I can finish tying my bow and it won't move. All right, I tied it a little bigger than I wanted it, and then I'm going to pull each end to get the loops like I want them. And I think I'm going to go smaller, a little tiny. That's cute. I like that. And then I can trim those ends off. We are done. You need your sharp scissors. These are older than dirt. So I'm going to get my sharp scissors and trim those off, which of course are across the room. So I'm not going to worry about it. Trim those off and you'll be done. So here's two different versions. Now, can you imagine with all those different color combinations, you could add some ribbon underneath here. That would be pretty. You could do, move all of this down, put it in the center. You could just, I think when I start making these, I don't ever have two that are alike. So those are your plaid Christmas cards. And don't forget, you could do a little grouping here and get what you need to make these cards. And it would be about $40, which would qualify you for your free gift, which is a pretty little package of brightly gleaming sweet things. Now we'll have to do this another day. The brightly gleaming has some punches that are ornaments and gorgeous, gorgeous colors and stamp set. So let me go back to my little plaid page. Oh, Toile. I see Toile. Toile is my favorite. You guys, I just go crazy when I see all these fun things. Okay, so here's my plaid. And so if you did the Perfectly Plaid stamp set for $17, your Pine Tree Punch for $18, that'd be $35. Yep. Wait. 10, 20, 28, $35. That's right. And then your paper, which would be another $14.50. Okay, if you have any questions, I'll leave all the information at the end for you to contact me. Thanks so much for coming by. I really had fun. And it's a little early for Christmas, I realize that, but a lot of people like to get started early, and you certainly want to get your orders in early while there's a good supply of everything. So thanks again for coming by. Check out my blog if you want measurements and supply lists. Thanks. I'll talk to you soon. Bye. But wait, there's more. I'm back. I forgot to show you the other card. This is it. I just used a plaid instead of the solid color behind it. And I did a little embossing on the tree. And the inside is the same as the other one. And of course you have your decorated envelope. Just one more example. There are an infinite number of ways to combine those cards. And I can't wait to try more of them.